There's a number of instant reports out this morning hinting or even saying outright that core inflation may now have peaked. Has it?
It's much too early to say because we've seen a lot of one-offs and things moving up. There could be some one-offs coming down. I broadly agree with the Fed's view that this is likely to be transitory, but there are risks, and in particular, there are risks to inflation expectations.
So the risks come from where? If we're going to agree that some of the transitory nature of pricing is coming back to normal, like with used cars and trucks, is it time to start worrying about things like shelter?
I think that's the next thing you're going to start hearing a lot more from the Fed about not only that rental prices may be going up and housing prices may be going up, but the market's getting a little bit frothy in some areas. So I think you'd be concerned both about the asset price issue as well as the inflation issue. But the key thing on inflation expectations will be wages. Are people starting to ask for higher wages and just quitting their job if they don't get them? It seems like we've got an awful lot of quits out there, even though there are a lot of open jobs.
Randy, it's Morgan. Just what's perhaps a really basic question. I mean, you mentioned frothy. I mean, certainly the housing market has looked pretty frothy just looking at price increases in recent months. So as we start to hear more talk of taper and debate around that, how does $120 billion in Treasury and mortgage-backed security purchases by the Fed each month actually create or at least support jobs?
Well, it certainly keeps interest rates low, and lower the interest rates are, the more likely it is that people have more incentive to spend rather than save, and firms to invest and try to create jobs. But it's only if those are sustainable. You can get a big boost in the short run that may not work out so well in the long run. So you can, so it's a trade-off.
Randy, do you think we've gotten some anecdotal evidence very recently of a pullback to a certain extent in some people in terms of their planning as a result of the spread of the Delta variant? Do you think in any way that will have an impact in terms of inflation and/or future demand at this point, or is it simply too early to say?
I think it has a potential impact, and I think this is something the Fed is sort of struggling with. Some people are basically ready to give the all clear, and that we've defeated the virus and we can move ahead. I would be a bit more cautious about that because we don't know how policy will react. We don't know whether there could be a new variant that's coming up. So my guess is what will happen is the Fed will be somewhat cautious in September. No big move, but they may lay the foundation for starting to announce a taper later in the year if things go well and we don't get some sort of problem related to the variant or the virus.
I know this may be a tough one to answer, and we're not looking to you to read charts that granularly, but where is the pressure on the 10-year? We did have that double bottom at 112. Now people talk about resistance in the high 130s. I guess the shorter way of asking really is, do you think we hit 2% before 1 or vice versa?
Well, I think there will be volatility for sure. We'll be doing ups and downs. I don't think it's likely that we're going to be hitting 1. I mean, inflation expectations have started to move up a little bit, but they're still sort of in a reasonable range. Unless there's a big hit to the economy due to the variant or due to policy, my guess is we're going to be moving higher gradually, but I think it's going to be a while. I don't think this is happening overnight.
Randy, does Jerome Powell get another term?
I'd give him another term. I think he has done a very good job in an extraordinarily difficult time. I think he has been pretty good on communication. No one's going to be perfect. There was a little bit of upset in the markets when they first started talking about, maybe starting to think about moving ahead a little bit more slowly. But so far, I think he's handled things well. I mean, obviously, there are other excellent candidates, but I would stick with Jay. I think he's a good guy.